What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Sanjeet back at it with another video, man. What an interesting game, man. There's so much to talk about. We're going to get into the entire game today from top to bottom. We're going to talk about it all. If you guys could hit that thumbs up button, please do that. It does help this video. Obviously, super disappointed, man. Let's talk about this, man. Let me fix this audio up here just a little bit. Hopefully it's nice and clear and you guys can 100% hear me. Shout out to all of you guys that are already here, man. Over 50 of you guys are already here. What a heartbreaking game, man. The Raiders, let's be honest, we had an opportunity to win this game. And I want you guys to keep this in mind. Derek Carr threw 3 interceptions and was sacked 5 freaking times. 5 or 6 times, not 100% sure what the exact count is. ESPN says 5, Twitter saying 6. I think the 6th sack was technically Devante Adams on that weird end around play. Regardless, Derek Carr was sacked 5 times and he threw 3 interceptions. And we lost by 5 freaking points. That's, there's a lot of positives out of this game. All right, there's a lot of really good things that came out of this game that we're going to talk about on this channel today. I know at the end of the day, the individual play doesn't matter, right? The center, the right tackle, the DN, the linebacker, none of that shit really matters. Let's just be honest. What really matters is the fact that we're 0-1 and the Chargers are 1-0. But when it comes to losses specifically, there are things to talk about. And we're going to talk about Derek Carr. And, you guys know this, man. If you guys have been on this channel for at least 2 seasons now, you guys know how I felt about Derek Carr in the past. Now, I'm not putting this loss 100% on Derek Carr. Of course, Derek Carr does get most of the blame. Let's be honest. 3 interceptions is not okay. But his offensive line was, it was kind of a weird situation. Like, not only did we have a right tackle that started the game, the guy came out 3 or 4 times, and Thayer Munford came out, and then he got replaced, and the starter came in, right? I don't know what the hell we're doing with Jermaine Loomer or Thayer Munford. I don't know if that was like a scheme thing that maybe Josh McDaniels wanted to test, like, potentially to say, hey, let's get our guys out there. Shout out to the super chats. We already got some super chats, a lot of comments. Almost 500 of you guys are already here. If you guys could just hit that thumbs up button, man, it would mean a lot. Ty Davis said, DC lost us this game hands down. We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to 100% talk about Derek Carr losing this game, potentially, right? I do think Derek Carr lost this game. I know some people are going to make excuses and say it wasn't on DC. We're going to talk about that, plus more, of course. Shout out to you. Brian said, the O-line, Carr looked terrible, 3 interceptions and 3 fumbles. We need O-line and D tackle help. I did not even realize Derek Carr fumbled the ball 3 times. I know there were a couple of fumbles. The last play, he fumbled the ball, obviously. I believe a couple times. I don't think we lost any of those fumbles. Don't quote me on that. But Derek Carr did fumble, and he did have some interceptions. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, guys. Derek Carr did have a terrible game. Now, here's the thing that I think a lot of people may not think about when it comes to Derek Carr and the Raiders offense. We're playing a Chargers team that is the real deal. And I'm not talking about their offense. Their offense looked okay, right? The Chargers defense is the real deal. Asante Samuels is an absolute beast of a cornerback. Aside from Asante Samuels, Khalil Mack had 3 sacks. Joey Bosa is Joey Bosa. Kenneth Murray, Derwin James had, I think, 2 sacks. The Chargers are the real deal, right? So let's give them some props for actually being a solid team. And we'll kind of use that as a basis for this video, right? Like, let's be honest, the Raiders offense sucked at times today. Our running game in the first, we had 3 points in the first half, but our running game was terrible in the first half. In the second half, they started going, and we scored more in the second half. I think we scored 16 points in the second half. Parsa said everything that could go wrong went wrong, and we lost by 5. We will come back stronger next week. And that's the positive right there. Everything that could have went wrong did absolutely go wrong, right? And again, I know some of you guys that are watching the stream are new to the channel, and you guys may think that I'm making an excuse for Derek Carr. I am not. I've been very critical of Derek Carr. Anybody that's been on this channel for the last 3 to 4 years absolutely knows how critical I have been of DC. It's very clear to me today, and if it's not clear to you guys, I want you guys to reevaluate how maybe it's a bias or how you guys feel about Derek Carr. Derek Carr has two big flaws, in my opinion. Flaw one is his mobility is not great. The guy did not run at all with the football. He had a couple of lanes. He wasn't able to do it. Two is his pocket presence isn't that good. When he's pressured, he's not able to step up. When he can get to the outside because there's pressure on the inside, he doesn't see that, right? And those have been the issues with Derek Carr. And today, a really good defense took advantage of it. All right, let's be honest. Chargers are one of the best defenses in the league. And on top of that, people said this offense is this high-powered offense. The Chargers had 24 points, but how many of those points were because Derek Carr or the offense made a mistake? I should just say Derek Carr. Let's be honest. I don't think anyone else fumbled. I don't think anyone else did anything in which it wasn't on DC. And we're going to talk about Derek Carr's interceptions as well as his underthrows, right? Because that was the issue, right? Like, let's be honest. Derek Carr's underthrows were 100% the issue. We're going to get into all the super chats. I see a ton of super chats already have come in. Shout out to you, Parsa. Shout out to the new member on this channel. I might miss it. I have Jerry Ballinger. Shout out to you, man, for being a member to the channel. Big shout out to you. Adrian said, did you catch Devante's attitude as a captain? I did not. I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys think in the comments. I did not see any sort of attitude from Devante Adams. Devante Adams is the real deal, man. I was a little hesitant with Devante Adams, and I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong, man. Devante Adams is an absolute superstar. 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. That too, like, you could make the argument Devante Adams should have had another touchdown had Derek Carr on one of his interceptions. Had he thrown the ball further, I think it was a second interception. Had Derek Carr put the ball out further for Devante Adams would have had another catch for 50 yards, whatever it was, and a second touchdown. Instead, Asante Samuel picked it off, and that pass was super underthrown. Richard said Derek Carr has always been inconsistent for years. New players, new coaches, same inconsistent quarterback. You guys tell me. Do you guys think Derek Carr is an inconsistent quarterback? I think he absolutely is. Obviously, Derek Carr is our quarterback, right? Let's not make any mistakes. We're not going to roll forward with Jarrett Stidham. We're not going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. We're not going to do anything stupid, right? That doesn't make sense. Derek Carr will start the rest of the season. And we do have to understand with Derek Carr, he was playing one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. But when you just compare Derek Carr to Justin Herbert in terms of their game, right? I think the difference in their careers, right? And I know Justin Herbert is just in year 3 and Derek Carr is in year 9. But the difference between the two guys has been the touchdown to interception ratio. Derek Carr had 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Herbert had 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. You can even go further than that. Herbert had no fumbles while Derek Carr had 3 fumbles, right? And that's always been Derek Carr's issue is interceptions, fumbles, pocket awareness, whatever you guys want to say. That's always kind of been the issues with DC. It's been that inconsistency. I know some people are going to blame the offensive line. And I think you would be 100% wrong for blaming the offensive line. Every quarterback gets pressured, right? When Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, when these guys get pressured, they get out of the pocket and they make plays. Derek Carr does not get out of the pocket. He does not make plays. And we're going to talk about more than just Derek Carr, right? Of course. A lot of super chats. Shout out to all of you guys, man. Super chats, the way to be featured on the channel. It's the way to get your guys' comments actually on the channel. Comments are going to go way too quickly, at least for this week's video, because there's over 600 you guys already here. So if you guys can hit that thumbs up button. If you're a member, we will try to get to the member comments for sure. Todd said, when Herbert gets pressure, he runs, sets, throws. Carr gets pressure and he stands there and takes it. Let's be honest. Joey Bosa said this about Derek Carr last year, and tell me if I'm wrong. Joey Bosa said that when Derek Carr gets pressured, he curls up into a ball. Those are his exact words. And it looks like, Todd, what you're saying is that when Derek Carr gets pressure, he just stands there and he takes it. He doesn't take off running. He doesn't step up. He doesn't try breaking a tackle. He falls down. And it is fact that is what happens with Derek Carr. Now, if this is the first time you're on this channel, understand we do film breakdowns on this channel, and we're going to break down Derek Carr's tape tomorrow. I will make sure to spend however long it takes to break down Derek Carr's tape, every sack, every time he threw an interception, Any play that he missed the guy wide open, we're going to break it all down, and we're going to be critical of Derek Carr. This is the year that I'm going to be super critical of Derek Carr. So if you can't take the me being critical on Derek Carr, unsubscribe. I'm going to suggest that to you because this is the year that Derek Carr has every single weapon. He has everything he needs. And if Derek Carr can't get it done with Devante Adams, a top 3 wide receiver, Darren Waller, a top 3 tight end, and Hunter Renfrow, a top 15 overall wide receiver, top 5 slot receiver, Josh Jacobs, top 10 running back. If Derek Carr can't get it done with that, then that tells you the type of quarterback he is, because not every quarterback needs a top tier offensive line, right? Some guys can get it done without that. Molly Mall, shout out to you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. You said Derek Carr missed key throws. He did. Let's just be honest. We had 3 points in the first half. We could have had at least 7. Darren Waller burned Derwin James. I believe it was Derwin James on the first drive. Darren Waller was running a crossing pattern wide open, and Derek Carr throws it behind him. And you know what's crazy about that is I saw some idiotic takes on Twitter. I don't know why people think like this. They think to themselves that if Darren Waller is running one way and Derek Carr throws the ball 3 yards behind him and he's barely able to touch the ball, that he should have caught the ball. People literally blame Darren Waller for Derek Carr throwing it behind Darren Waller. How is that? How do people think that first play was on anyone but Derek Carr? Now, it's okay. Underthrows happen. Every quarterback underthrows, overthrows, happens all the time. It's not a major deal. But as we kind of went through it, or through the game, it was underthrow after underthrow after underthrow. Devante Adams beats his guy deep, and Derek Carr throws it 4 yards behind him, and Asante Samuel picks it off. Devante Adams has to slow down because the ball wasn't in the back of the end zone. Instead, it was 2 yards prior to the end zone, right? Plays like that are losing plays. And even the Hunter Renfrow throw, I don't know how he threw it behind Renfrow on that play. It almost seemed like Devante Adams had space and he wanted to throw it, but he didn't want to feel like he was forcing Adams, and then he kind of turned back around. I don't know. That's what it kind of looked like to me when I watched the broadcast angle. Shout out to all you guys, man, with the super chats. A lot of super chats coming in. Black Sale said, I thought the O-line gave him enough time against elite pass rushers, but Carr was holding the ball way too long, missed on 3 touchdown throws, 2 to Waller, 1 to Adams. I got to go back and watch the tape. I don't like commenting too much without actually watching the tape. And I get it, right? Or the game just ended, so everyone wants to hear what happened, what went wrong. And it is kind of a mistake. Now, of course, we all watched it. We all know what happened, right? Derek Carr had 3 interceptions. He was sacked 5 to 6 times. But could any of it be that the coverage was just really good, or Josh McDaniels just didn't do a good job running his things running his calls, I should say? Could it have been other factors other than Derek Carr? I think it is possible, right? Now, I do understand Derek Carr has those limitations of his mobility and his pocket presence, and you can't really blame DC for that, right? We chose DC as our quarterback for this season, and that's DC's game, right? If you think Derek Carr is going to run for 1,000 yards, you're obviously mistaken. It's not going to happen, all right? But there were some players that had outstanding games today. So let's just give some quick shout outs to some of these players. And I want to know what you guys think about this, man. Josh Jacobs had a pretty solid game. I know in the first half, he really didn't do anything. In the second half, he had a pretty solid game. Overall, he had 10 carries for 57 yards. He averaged 5.7 yards per attempt. I know people are going to say, why didn't he have 150 yards? Well, technically, if he had more carries, he could have, right? You triple Josh Jacobs' carries, he would have had 171 yards, right? I believe that's what 57 times 3 is. He had 10 carries. So if he had 30 carries, he would have had 171 yards. Josh Jacobs had a pretty solid game, right? Considering how many touches he had. But there were some idiotic calls, right? There was a 3rd and 2, I believe, early in the game, maybe the 2nd or 3rd drive of the game. 3rd and 2, and we hand it off to Brandon Bolden, and we don't pick it up, and we end up punting. Right before halftime, 38 seconds, all 3 timeouts. I get it. We're going to get the ball at halftime, and you don't want to make a mistake. But what do you guys think Justin Herbert would do, or Patrick Mahomes would do, or Russell Wilson would do? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees with 38 seconds and 3 timeouts. You guys think they're going to basically need the ball or hand it off? No, they're not, right? And I get it. You run the ball, and the hope is you get 10 to 15 yards. Hopefully, the hope is that the defense wasn't prepared for that. But it didn't make sense to me, right? So Josh McDaniels had some questionable moments. I know the offensive line. A lot of people want to talk about the offensive line and talk about how terrible they were. I felt like they did a pretty good job, right? Keeping in mind that the Chargers' defensive line's really good, top 5 defensive line. I said this in one of my videos in the last 2 or 3 days that the Chargers' defensive line is better than the Raiders' defensive line. And the reason why is because Joey Bosa is slightly better than Max Crosby, at least in the, not at the end of this year, but like looking at it, you can say Joey Bosa is slightly better than Max Crosby. And you could say that Khalil Mack is better than Chandler Jones. And I know a lot of people disagreed with me. A lot of people said that's not a fact. I think Khalil Mack is. And, I think he had 3 sacks today. It looks like Khalil Mack had 3 sacks today. So I think he proved it, and I get it. Right, you can say, well, he went up against the Raiders tackles, but truth be told, Mack did force a sack off of Colton Miller. I believe the final sack of the game was on Colton Miller's side, right? Tito said Carr was playing too aggressive, hoping it's first game jitters. Line needs to play better, and Carr needs to play calm and focused. Here's the thing. I actually liked how Derek Carr was playing aggressive. I like that Derek Carr. I get it that he threw 3 interceptions. We're not going to play the Chargers defensive line and secondary every week. That's not going to happen, right? We're only going to play this defense one time and then one more time throughout this season. But we have 15 games against other defenses. The Chargers could have a top 5 defense, right? Like, the players that they have on the defensive unit could be that. Now, I do think that if you guys consider the fact that Derek Carr did play aggressive, he did still have 295 yards, and he had 3 interceptions, right? That means that's 3 drives that basically ended early. Had he been able to go through those drives, he could have had 350 yards at least, right? So, in my opinion, I liked how Derek Carr was being aggressive, and you guys may not agree with that, and that's all right, right? We're not all going to agree with it. But the thing I don't want is the conservative Carr. The Carr in John Gruden's first and second year. I get those are rebuilding years, but I like the Derek Carr that's being aggressive, that's going to throw the ball. The guy that's going to feed Devante Adams. I think that's a big part of our offense. Under Gruden, we used to feed Josh Jacobs, and everything would build off of feeding Josh Jacobs. In this offense, we need to feed Devante Adams and build everything off of feeding Devante Adams. Because when the secondary starts bracketing Devante Adams, that's when Darren Waller is going to hit for his catches, right? That last touchdown we have was because of Darren Waller, right? He had a 31-yard catch and run. So again, I would like Carr to just continue being aggressive. I see a lot of your guys' super chats. Ty Davis said 3rd and 3 and Carr don't run. You don't give it to Jacobs, who was hot to run it. It wasn't the O-line this time. Obviously we don't know how Josh McDaniels' offense kind of works. Like, we don't 100% know if Derek Carr has the same power that he may have had under John Gruden in terms of play calling. I'm sure he could have checked into a run, right? At the end of the day, you're a 9-year veteran. You can check into whatever you want. But 3rd and 3, I would have liked for the Raiders to have either quick throw, get the first down, or do something where you're not getting sacked and now it's 4th and 8. Right? Do something a little bit smarter. And, one of the interesting things was obviously we only ran the ball 13 total times. And we threw the ball, or we dropped back at least like 44 or 45 times, right? Derek Carr threw it 37 times. He was sacked a couple times. I would have liked for the Raiders to run the football more. I feel like in the first half, we kind of got away from it because it wasn't really working early on. I want to talk about the offense line. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I want to go through the super chats because they do disappear after some time. I do appreciate all you guys with the super chats, man. Not only are you guys able to be featured on the channel, but at the same time, it does support this channel. If you don't want to leave a super chat, all good. Just hit the thumbs up button. Obviously, that helps. Raiders for Life said, I just looked at replay and DC didn't even look at Adams on 3rd and 2. He was wide open. I got to go back and watch it. I don't, obviously I know you're not lying, but it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate, man, because no one's going to care about Devante Adams' 10 catches for 141 yards and touchdown. No one's going to care that Josh Jacobs averaged 5.7 yards. Even Nate Hobbs' superstar play. Like, how great of a play was it on third down for Nate Hobbs to force the incompletion? I believe it was on Mike Williams. He literally knocked the ball incomplete. And because of that incompletion that Nate Hobbs forced, they punted the ball, and the Raiders had the opportunity to win, right? People always say Derek Carr is the clutchest quarterback in the NFL. Well, I'm going to disagree with that. I don't think he is the clutchest. I know he's had a lot of come back from behind wins. I don't think that's the same thing as being clutch. And I say that, don't get mad at me. I say that because we've now been in at least 2 games, going back just over our last 2 games, the Bengals game as well as this game, and we weren't able to win either. Right? We had the chance to win, and I believe even the game before the Bengals, not the Chargers, but the game before that last year. I believe Derek Carr had a chance to win, and we didn't. And then our defense got us stopped, and then we drove downfield, right? And I get it, right? It's the defense has to do their part, as is the offense. But I do think that this defense does look good, and I do think that the scheme is better, and I do think that there will be a time where this defense makes plays and helps win the game. Let's be honest. The offense lost us the game today. Derek Carr lost us the game today. And when Derek Carr lost us the game, he put the defense in some bad positions. The Chargers punted the ball at least a couple times where they were able to get it within the 10-yard line for the Raiders, and they had a long drive, long position to go. And then Derek Carr would throw an interception, and the Chargers needed 40 yards or 30 yards to score a touchdown. I believe at least 10 points came off of turnovers. John Salina said, Carr needs to really learn to read while either stepping up in the pocket and or sliding. The D-end are crashing high, and Carr should recognize that and adjust. I actually, earlier this morning, I actually watched the Falcons game. I wanted to watch Marcus Mariota in his first start. Now, they obviously lost. If you guys don't know, they lost to the Saints. I think the Saints are one of the best teams in the NFL. Overall team, great playmakers, good offensive line, great defense. And their defensive line's really good. And what I watch with Marcus Mariota is he steps up into the pocket. He slides, as John says, to the right, to the left. For as much as Marcus learned from Derek Carr, because Marcus got way better because of Derek Carr taught Marcus Mariota how to play the quarterback position. I wish the one thing Carr would have taken from Marcus was the ability to get out of the pocket. And I get it. Marcus is faster, but, we're not talking about running, right? Getting out of the pocket and take off running. That's not what we're talking about. You watch Tom Brady and you'll see him step up into the pocket, slide right, and make the pass, right? Pocket awareness, pocket presence. That's what I'm talking about, right? Even when I say mobility, I'm not talking about Derek Carr taking off running or running a read option, right? I'm talking about stepping up into the pocket to make the throw. When Derek Carr gets a little bit of pressure from the left tackle or from the right tackle, even on Jermaine Illuminor's sack, right? The first sack where Khalil Mack bull rushed Illuminor into Derek Carr, some quarterbacks, right? Not all, some quarterbacks would have taken off to the left, right? Stepped back or stepped up. Derek Carr doesn't do that. When that happens, when the pocket collapses, Derek Carr goes down, right? And I think that is one of the flaws with him. Jose said, all the money we spent, this is unacceptable. Shaking my head. It's unfortunate, man, because think about it. Next year, we're going to have almost $80 million invested between Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Devante Adams, and Derek Carr. $80 million. And we don't have that type of money invested in the offensive line. We'll have Colt Miller. I think he's getting 13, 14 million. But then from left guard to right tackle, it's all basically guys on rookie contracts, minus Andre James. I think Andre James gets $6 million next year. But what's the point of having all these superstar weapons if you're not going to score more than 19 points? Now, obviously, this is week 1, so let's not way overreact. I think the Raiders will be fine going into next week. We do have a hard schedule to start the season. A lot of good teams, some playoff teams, some teams that'll make the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, what happens. But I appreciate the super chat. Larry Millette, big shout out to you, said Carr has done nothing in his career to not play in the preseason with the new system, and now to see what happens. And now we see what happens. I've been saying this. I literally have been saying this the entire freaking preseason. Derek Carr needs to play, right? Because Derek Carr is not I get it. You don't want your quarterback to get hurt, but if Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert can play in the preseason, Derek Carr can too, right? A lot of these interceptions could have been knocked out in the preseason. And I get it. People talk about scrimmage and how they go out there and they do this entire situation during scrimmage. Scrimmage is not the same thing as actual preseason reps. If Derek Carr has a red jersey on, do you think he's going to start panicking out there when there's pressure? No, because he's not going to get hit, right? So scrimmaging and practice during preseason training camp, those type of reps don't really matter. They're not the same type of reps. And I almost feel like John Gruden did this last year. We came out slow against the Ravens. And even this year, we came out slow against the Chargers. Let's be honest, our offense underperformed. And the crazy thing is, you take away those interceptions, and you either just punt the ball from when it happened or you kick a field goal. And this game's much different, right? It's a completely different ball game, which is why I think you shouldn't really panic. I think when next week comes around, I think the Raiders are going to be perfectly fine. Shout out to you, Larry, for the comment. Johnny, shout out to you. Derek Carr played terrible and lost the game today, but it's week 1. I don't think it's that big of a deal. No real reps to prepare for a live game with the new coach. And that's the issue, right? I still think the Raiders should have went out there, and I still feel like the Raiders should have absolutely went through preseason, man. Take those reps, right? I get it. They decided not to. They went against it for whatever reason. It is what it is. But I'm okay with it, and I think we should move forward to next week. Now, obviously, we're going to evaluate the crap out of the tape. A couple of players that I want to give a shout out to. Jonathan Abram, 12 tackles, a bunch of solid freaking plays, man. Third downs, he was stopping players from getting the first. Great job, man, forcing punts. And the crazy part is Jonathan Abram's game is going to absolutely go unnoticed because he did not have a sack, did not have a tackle for a loss, he did not have a forced fumble, but he was blowing plays up. He was blowing by people. He was forcing the running back to cut back, and then someone else makes the play right. And I'm not sure exactly what happened to Denzel Perryman. I'm not sure if he got hurt. I don't remember seeing anything. He only had 3 tackles this game, and I'm not sure exactly what it was. But, he was out. He didn't play a whole lot. I saw a lot of Divine Diablo. I saw a lot of Jaylen Brown, of course. Even saw Cleveland Farrell out there a ton, which is kind of surprising. Farrell was the number 3 defensive end, which definitely surprised me. I would have thought it was Malcolm Kuntz. We did see Kuntz play like maybe 5 or 6 snaps. Really didn't have an impact. I do think, obviously, the Chargers offensive line is really good. It is what it is, right? I see a lot of people. Shout out to you, Johnny. I appreciate the super chat. I see a lot of people talking about Carr and saying Carr bitch, or I don't know. I think we may being a little tough on Derek Carr. All right, I'm gonna just put it right there. You guys know that I have been very, very critical of DC, and I'm not backing down from that criticism. But I do think that Raider Nation gets way too split on Derek Carr. At the end of the day, this coaching staff chose Derek Carr, at least for this year. I do acknowledge that we do have an out at the end of the year with Derek Carr's contract. The Raiders put that in there for a reason. Let's not pretend like it's not there, right? If Derek Carr was 100% the guy going forward, they would have locked him in and not had that out. Again, I'm not saying we're going to move on from Derek Carr. I'm just saying, right? The coaching staff wanted to see what they have had with Derek Carr for this year. And again, it is just one game. It was against one of the best teams in the league, right? I'll be the first to say, guys, the Chargers are obviously the real deal. Justin Herbert, top 7 quarterback. The defense, maybe a top 5 defense. They were also missing their number 1 cornerback. Sante Samuel obviously looks good. Overall, man, I think the Raiders offense will obviously step back up in the next game. I think one of the big things with this game was I kind of wanted to see how our scheme looked. I was definitely disappointed on the offense side of the ball from a scheme approach. I don't feel like we did as many good things that I saw in the preseason, which is kind of sad, to be honest with you guys, because preseason is very vanilla. You don't really actually do anything from a scheme approach. Ty Davis, shout out to you, said Roethlisberger, big self, could run 3 yards. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I appreciate the super chat. The film breakdown is going to be interesting this week because, generally speaking, I do like a player here, a player there. Maybe I'll do like Darren Munford, Jermaine Illuminor. But with the first week, I think a Derek Carr film breakdown is needed because I think we need to see what Derek Carr may have missed out there, what Derek Carr may not have seen. Plus, I'm not going to give Derek Carr a free pass. I said this earlier in this live video. Derek Carr does not get a free pass this year for me. I've been very critical of Derek Carr in the past. One of the things I've said about Derek Carr is his pocket awareness and his pocket mobility are not there. And it showed in today's game. 5 or 6 sacks, 3 interceptions, 3 total fumbles, or I should say 2. On ESPN site, it officially says 2. That's too many fumbles, too many interceptions, too many bad plays by Derek Carr, and we're not going to give Derek Carr a pass. We're gonna be honest about Derek Carr. We're gonna look at every single week. We'll go week by week, and we'll evaluate him, and we'll see what the coaches watch. We'll see what the coaches feel about Derek Carr. Stevie said Herbert had a 133.7 QBR against Graham when he coordinated the Giants last year. Today, Herbert had a 129.4. We made MVP candidates out of Herbert and Mac. As a side note, more passes to Jacobs. I'm not exactly sure. I do appreciate the super chat for reals. I'm not 100% sure if you're saying that Patrick Graham's scheme is bad, because I don't think that at all. In fact, I think Patrick Graham put together a great game plan against Herbert. Specifically, the second half adjustments were absolutely wonderful. The Chargers had 7 points in the second half, and I believe the 7 points they scored came on Derek Carr's interception. Specifically to Hunter Renfrow. Don't quote me on that. It may not be that interception, but I do believe that the 7 points in the second half is a win for the Raiders. In fact, if the Raiders scored more points in the first half, we would have been in a better situation. I think Patrick Graham did a pretty solid job. Now, I do understand that Justin Herbert went 26 to 34, 3 touchdowns. He didn't get intercepted, and I don't even know if he got sacked. He didn't get sacked. But he was pressured, right? And we do have to understand Justin Herbert is a top 7 quarterback, right? The good quarterbacks don't get sacked. They have the awareness and those type of qualities and traits to not get sacked, right? I do appreciate the super chat. You talk about Mac here too. Let's talk about Mac a little bit, and let's talk about the Raiders offense line. Justin Gandy, shout out to you for the $2 super chat. I do appreciate it. Let's talk about the offense line because I see a lot of mixed opinions of the Raiders offense line, but I think it's important to talk about it. First and foremost, big shout out to Colton Miller, John Simpson, Andre James. Shout out to those 3 guys. I know some people are going to say Colton Miller allowed a sack. I put that sack on Derek Carr because of his limitations. Big shout out to those 3 guys because they held it down. Like, did you guys notice Andre James or John Simpson getting their asses kicked? Because I did not. Right. Dylan Parham started the game. Lester Cotton came in at some point. I think they switched at least. Lester Cotton came into the game 2 separate times for Parham. At the right tackle, Jermaine Illuminor started the game. Munford came in. Illuminor came back in a little bit later on. And then Munford ended the game at right tackle. I'm not sure what the hell's going on because our right side of the offensive line is like, it's almost like how teams switch in running backs and teams switch in defensive ends and pass rushers. It's like the Raiders were doing that with the right guard and right tackle position, and that just didn't make sense to me. Jermaine Illuminor did not look good today, and let me get a little bit more detailed than that. He didn't look good in certain pass sets. I saw him getting beat and giving up pressure to Derek Carr. Now, let's also be honest. Jermaine Illuminor took 45 pass snaps, right? Just on an estimation. I'd say in those 45, he lost maybe 5 of those pass sets. One was obviously the sack. There were a couple others where the guy didn't even touch Derek Carr, but he still lost, right? Obviously, people probably didn't even notice those snaps. We'll break the tape down and we'll point those 5 snaps that he lost. Is losing 5 snaps the end of the world? It is not. But there's still 5 losing snaps. Offensive linemen should be, they should win 99% of their snaps because 50% of your snaps, you're either the backside blocker or it's a quick throw, so you shouldn't lose regardless. The other 50%, you shouldn't be losing, 5 of the other 50%, right? That's like 5 snaps out of 25 that you're losing. way too high of a percentage. But Jermaine Loomer did lose a little bit. David Munford came in and he got his ass kicked too. I noticed David Munford losing on a ton of reps. And again, we'll watch the tape. We will go back. We will break down our offensive line. I will absolutely do it. I might even have to post like 5 videos tomorrow. We will post the video tomorrow. Thayer Munford got beat up too. I think that is why they continuously switched in and out, because both of our tackles were getting beat up. Now, can you use that as an excuse for Derek Carr? Slightly, yes. But Derek Carr could have also helped the offensive line out by potentially getting the ball out, by moving a little bit, right? And that is something Derek Carr could have done to benefit the O-line. So you can kind of go back and forth and say, the offensive line, the right side specifically, didn't necessarily help DC, but DC didn't help them either. When we used to have guys like Gabe Jackson and Donald Penn and Kelechi Osemele and Gabe Jackson, and I believe it was Malik Watson, don't quote me on that. We used to have those 5 guys out there. The Raiders' offensive line helped Derek, but Derek also helped the offensive line because he was getting the ball out quickly. Quick throws here, quick throws there. And again, I get it. If you're going to be aggressive and take those deep shots, you can't have those quick throws, but we gotta just do a little bit more, right? I think the right guard position was kind of hard to evaluate because it is on the inside, and I think that is why the right tackle and left tackle get evaluated harder or more harsher, I should say, because of the fact that they're right there. You see the right tackle, left tackle. The interior offense line is a little bit harder to see. You got to go back and really focus in during a live play, really rewatch it a couple times to see if a guy won a rep or not. But Parham did get replaced with Cotton at least, a couple times. And who knows? Maybe it was injury, right? I don't know. I didn't hear anything. Maybe the guys were banged up. I will reach out to my offensive lineman contacts, the guys that I speak to, and I'll ask what the hell happened today. I will find out, and I'll report that to you guys tomorrow. Maybe I'll go live again. Maybe I'll just make a video. You guys know I talked to these offensive linemen. I talked to a couple of the defensive linemen. We'll find out. We'll get a general basis of kind of what happened. We'll see if the offensive line coach had an issue with the right guard, right tackle. We'll find out if it was injury related. We'll find out all of that. Psycho said we should have gotten Mac back. Man, that would have been absolutely awesome. I will say this. I kind of predicted this before the game. I said I don't think Rashawn Slater is going to give up a sack to Chandler Jones, and he didn't. Chandler Jones got shut down. Although Chandler Jones did win at least 2 reps early in the game, they just didn't convert for sacks. And I'll point the play out, at least one of them exactly. There was a player when the announcer said about Justin Herbert, he was kissing his ass. He said something to the tune of, "Oh, look at Herbert not being able to use his back foot. A defender grabbed his foot and he still was able to throw it and get it." I think it was his tight end Everett that caught that pass. It was early on in the game, first drive. And that was Chandler Jones that beat Rashawn Slater. But Rashawn Slater obviously didn't lose much to Chandler Jones. I see all the comments already saying Chandler Jones didn't even play. Chandler who, this, that. Remember, the Chargers offense line's good. Rashawn Slater is an all-pro left tackle. He's a top 5 left tackle. Their left guard is an 8-year veteran. He was on the Steelers. Just because you guys might not know the names of these guys doesn't mean they're not good. That left guard is an 8-year veteran. He was starting for the Steelers, came to the Chargers. He's a good football player. The center is a top 3 center, right? And this is consensus, right? Most people believe Rashawn Slater is a top 5. Most people think Corey Linsley, the Chargers center, is a top 3 center. Zion Johnson was my number 1 offensive lineman, right? Like, you guys can look at my pre-draft videos, and I said Zion Johnson is the best offensive lineman in this class. He's their starting right guard, right? Their only issue was their right tackle, and Max Crosby kicked that guy's ass. Let's just be honest. Obviously, his wins didn't convert to sacks, but don't think Max Crosby wasn't getting after Herbert. Obviously, Herbert has great mobility. He's able to get out of the pocket. So when Max did get pressure, Herbert got out of the pocket and he extended the play and he made some plays, right? If you guys remember this on my video, literally that I posted yesterday morning, one of the questions was, what's going to be more important, Carr versus Herbert or the 2 defenses, whichever defense plays better? I said it's going to be Carr versus Herbert. And although I think the Raiders defense played really good, and I would even say it was pretty even. I know the Chargers had multiple turnovers, but the Raiders had multiple stops, and we even technically had a turnover too, right? It was a turnover on downs. I just think Justin Herbert slightly outperformed Derek Carr. Not even by that much. Let's just be honest. We lost by 5 points, right? We didn't get blown out. Again, I know a lot of people are going to say that, but no world order. Shout out to you for the super chat. You said this loss clearly falls on Josh McDaniels. I agree with you, man. I don't know if people, I know some people aren't going to want to hear this, right? But I blame Josh McDaniels, not entirely, but I do slightly blame him, right? I would say Derek Carr, Josh McDaniels, 45% each of those guys. And the other 10%, you can put it wherever you want, right? And I say that because Derek Carr had his turnovers. He didn't make the plays that when we needed him to, but Josh McDaniels could have done a better job calling the game. 3rd and 2 I think on the second or third drive of the game. 3rd and 2, how the hell do you run the ball with Brandon Bolden on a quarterback or on the draw play out of shotgun? How do you call that play right there, right? Like, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I get it. You want to throw every single possible option out there because then it makes the defense just have to start thinking and planning. Throw the ball to Devante Adams or Darren Waller or Hunter Renfrow. It's 2 yards. 3rd and 2. Just pick up the damn 2 yards, right? I don't know. And that too, if you're going to run the ball, keep Josh Jacobs in. Brandon Bolden had 3 carries for 7 yards. Brandon Bolden had 2 catches for 21 yards, right? I get it. He had a touchdown. Great. But I don't know. I think Brandon, and I didn't see Amir Abdullah play. I do think that he was thrown to at least once or twice. I don't remember seeing him actually make any plays. It's a tough loss. I'll be the first to tell you guys, but I will say that we are going to move forward and we're going to get into next week's game. And we're going to start looking forward to next week. And we're going to say, what can we do to make ourselves better, right? And some people are going to talk about the fact that maybe the Raiders need to go out and get themselves a right tackle. What do you guys think? Do the Raiders need a right tackle, or could we go forward with Illuminor and Munford and hope that they get better? I understand that Munford will get better. He's a rookie. First ever game. Illuminor, I think this is his 4th or 5th year. I believe it's his 5th year. But he can get better too, right? So I don't know if we need to go out and get Daryl Worley. Daryl Williams. Daryl Worley's our ex-corner. But I don't know if we need to go out and get Williams. Or I don't know if we need to go out and get a right tackle and we trade for a guy. Andre Dillard of the Philadelphia Eagles is available. Although I think he may start due to injury there. But do the Raiders need to go out and get another right tackle? You guys tell me. Great Tribulation, thank you for the super chat. Said, I'm not used to Carr throwing this many interceptions this early. The O-line is garbage, still surprisingly close considering. I do think the offensive line was not great, right? But I don't think the offensive line was the major issue. Plus, let's be honest. You paid Devante Adams, you paid Hunter Renfrow, you paid Darren Waller, you paid Max Crosby, you paid Chandler Jones, you went out and traded for a cornerback. You didn't invest in your offensive line. And I know not you, Great Tribulation specifically, but I'm talking about this front office. If you're going to say that our offensive line lost us this game, that's on the general manager and the head coach for not investing in the offensive line. Leo Collins was a free agent. We could have went and signed him. There's some other players that were traded. We could have went and traded for one of those guys. We could have went out and got ourselves a right tackle, a right guard, a center. We could have done all of that, and we decided not to. We wanted Adams. We wanted to pay Renfrow. We wanted to pay Waller. If you want to pay all these guys, they make up for having a bad offensive line. They make up for that, right? I get it, right? The offensive line did not play that great, right? It's not like they were the offensive line of 4 or 5 years ago when we had all those superstars on the offensive line. But this is what you're paying for, right? You're trying to patch up some sort of unit, right? So again, I don't know. I agree with you though on your remark. I'm not used to Derek Carr throwing 3 interceptions. Has Derek Carr ever thrown 3 interceptions? I don't know. I can't really think if he has. I'm sure he has at least once. But has Derek Carr ever thrown 3 interceptions in a game? That too, if he did we only lose by 5 points? Because that is still kind of crazy if you ask me. Aunt Six said, do we sign or trade for someone? I'm going to say no. I don't know. Something just tells me the Raiders are not going to go out and actually get another tackle or another whatever it may be. I think the Raiders are going to roll forward with this unit. I do think Darren Munford might end up starting now. Do I agree with that? As of right now, I don't. I need to go back and watch the tape. I get Illuminor lost some reps early on, but was he hurt or did he get pulled? And I think we'll find that out pretty soon here. Shout out to you, Raider Luxid. 3 interceptions in double coverage. What the F? That ain't no franchise quarterback. Derek Carr's interceptions were all underthrows. The Darren Waller interception, he underthrew the ball. Darren Waller, let's be honest, the safeties were late on coming over, both safeties. I believe they're in some sort of Tampa too. The linebacker was underneath. If Derek Carr put the ball out there and let Darren Waller catch it in stride, he would have scored a touchdown, or he would have picked up a bunch of yards. And the fact that Derek Carr underthrew it, Drew Tranquill was able to intercept the pass. Devante Adams had a step. He had multiple steps. It's like 4 steps on the cornerback. Straight burned him. And Derek Carr underthrew the pass, and the corner caught up. Devante Adams had to slow down, and he picked it off. Hunter Renfrow behind him picked off. Darren Waller, the first third down on the first drive of the game. Darren Waller smokes, I believe, Derwin James, and Derek Carr threw it behind him. All right. You're saying that's not a franchise quarterback. It's hard for me to say that because I've said that already multiple times that Derek Carr is not a franchise quarterback, but I keep getting proven wrong. Not only has John Gruden chosen to keep Derek Carr, but now Josh McDaniels has chosen Derek Carr, right? So although I've agreed with you in the past and I've said Derek Carr is not a franchise quarterback, and I still may think that, right? I may still have a feeling that Derek Carr is not the guy. I'm going to root for him, and I want him to prove me that he is the guy. Right, I want him to prove you and everybody else that Derek Carr is the guy, and that's all we can do. Right, at the end of the day, it's not our choice. Right, I was just on a show with Wasted, who does Raiders content as well as on his channel, and we talked about this. There's a difference between some owners who want to win Super Bowls and some owners who just want to be good enough where the money keeps flowing in. Right? If the Raiders are good for 30 years and don't win a Super Bowl, Mark Davis may not care. If the Raiders win a Super Bowl this year and suck for the next 29 years, if that happens, Mark Davis may not like that, right? And that's just what it is. And my camera just went out here. You guys can see that. My camera gets way too hot. I apologize for that. We're going to keep going. Hopefully, I can turn the camera back on in just a couple minutes. John Selena said, you're right. Willis, Mahomes do this well to help their O-line. Mac rushed, then just had to put his arm out there, and Carr quarterback trait is build is not top. I agree with you, man. 100% agree with you. Wilson and Mahomes, they do a great job, right? And they get out of the pocket, and they make plays, and they do things that are different. Right. And Derek Carr does not. Right now, do you blame Derek Carr for that, or do you blame something else potentially for that? Right. And I hope that the camera continues to work here. If it doesn't, I'm going to end the stream. But yeah, man, it is what it is with Carr. He is the quarterback we have. Dirty Style said, replace Bolden as second string running back and run the ball more. Our coaches feel us. That's the thing. I don't even think Brandon Bolden played this preseason, and I don't know why, right? Obviously, the coaching staff felt that he was the guy from the get-go. He was like our locked-in number 2 guy. I don't see it, man. 3 carries for 7 yards. A crucial 3rd and 2 he couldn't convert. I don't even care about the stats. I care about the crucial moments, right? From this game, there's a couple of plays that I will remember, and the camera's going to keep going out. I'm going to just leave it off at this point. There's some crucial moments that I remember from this game. Okay, first and foremost, Brandon Bolden, 3rd and 2, did not pick that up. There was another play. Nate Hobbs, 3rd and 3, he knocks the pass incomplete. I will remember these plays, right? I don't know why Bolden's in the game. It does not make sense to me. I appreciate it, Dirty Styles. Parsa said we need to keep the O simple, double reverse. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, man. I do want to get into this final super chat. This one comes from Raider Nation Unlimited, featuring Wasted Talent. Shout out to you. This is gonna be the final super chat because my camera is tweaking out a little bit. Any other super chats, I will either answer the question in a different video or I will refund them. Wasted said it's time to hold Carr accountable. He should have played in the preseason period. You and I both, man, 100%. Derek Carr needs to be held accountable. 3 interceptions, 5 sacks, multiple fumbles, multiple drive-killing checks, right? 3rd and 2 by Brandon Bolden. Why would Derek Carr allow that play to be run? Why would he not check into something else? You look at some other plays. Why would Derek Carr not potentially check into a different play, right? In my opinion, Derek Carr needs to be held accountable, and the preseason should have been a thing. Fact. Derek Carr needed to play in the preseason this year, last year, and every year in the past years because it makes absolute no sense. Why would Derek Carr not play in the preseason? Derek Carr is not this top 10 guaranteed quarterback, right? Like Derek Carr needs to prove himself, right? Most of us agree Derek Carr needed to prove himself, and this is his year for him to prove it. And in my opinion, I want to see what Derek Carr can do, right? And he should have played in the preseason. I think he made I think Josh McDaniels is to blame for that, for not having Derek Carr play in the preseason. Either way, it is one game. The Raiders are 0-1. They're not 0-17. We still got 16 more games. Shout out to all you guys. Well over 1,100 you guys. Thumbs up if you guys can, man. It really does help. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will get my camera fixed. I'm ordering a new camera as we speak. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.